Well, it says I'm live, so I guess I should begin my show live from O'Hare Airport cargo area. This is Mark Goldberg with a quick wristwatch check. Of course, nobody's here yet. Pardon me, small phlegm ball. But I'm sure legions of fans will be joining me momentarily. So let's have a look at what I'm wearing right now, which is the Rolex GMT Batman. You know, this looks a little fuggy fuzzy. Doesn't hold on. I think I gotta watch the camera. Let's see. Why are you live, Tanzil, when Clive is live? Well, I didn't know Clive was live. He doesn't consult me when he's about to go live. So I didn't know. I'm sitting in a parking lot bored off my ass. So I thought I would record a little something. So that's why. And Tanzil, if Clive is live, why are you not on that show? And why are you not watching me? And speaking of which, Clive, why didn't you invite me? Oh, you have both live streams going on at the same time. Well, that's cool. Tell Clivey I said hi. And anyway, I went to pick up a dog here. Let me show you where I'm at. It's, I don't know, you can't see too much. But it's like the cargo end of O'Hare. And, you know, so I'm just kind of here at the airport. I gotta wait. I'm a dog trainer, guys, and I'm here to pick up a dog at the airport that's being shipped. Still there, I had to decline a phone call. Anyway, so here I am in the airport, and let me show you. Oh yeah, I can. You know, as we know, Archie Luxury has complained bitterly that I traded in my Porsche for this Ford. But hey, let's have a quick look at this thing. I got to be honest with you. I way prefer my Ford to that Porsche Macan, like way. Look, it's big, it's beautiful, it's pretty. Its back end is not all that interesting. There, I'm pixelating out my license plate. I wish I could show you more of the front end, but I'll have to go into the bushes to do it. But they pretty much ripped off the Range Rover front end on this vehicle. So it looks really cool. And oh, look at the stuff you can do. Like when I come out here with an armful of dog, I can just watch this. I can just like kick. All I did was like kick there. Okay, all I'm supposed to have to do, experiencing technical, I think I have to get closer. All right, I don't know why. Oh, I know, because I got the, I don't know, I got something disabled, you know, when I turned on my electronics in there. But anyway, you just kick under there when you don't have your, when you have your key on you, and it just pops open. It's like leather everywhere. You got really cool, it's got wood, real wood inserts, leather stitching. The platinum badge stitched right into the leather. I can take 7 of my friends or about 10 dead hookers in this thing. So I really like it. And when I said I'm bored in the Batman, I don't really mean I'm bored with the Batman. I just meant that I got to wait an hour here till I move inside and collect the dog that was shipped to me. So, Alan, you're late to the party. What happened to the Porsche? I traded it for this gorgeous Ford Platinum Explorer, or as Archie likes to call it, the Ford Exploder. But oh my gosh, it's way better than the Porsche, and it still has 365 horsepower. Well, here is my Batman. You know, I made a video called 5 Things I Hate About the Batman, and people took it so seriously that they're like, "You jerk! Why'd you even buy a Batman? I hate you for having one." I love my Batman. I just had to find 5 annoying things to, I had to find 5 annoying things in order to, you know, make a video. So Tanzil, have you not been listening? I'm parked here at O'Hare Airport cargo area, waiting to pick up a dog who has been shipped in for me. A dog who I will be training and ultimately selling. She's a gorgeous Labradoodle. So, Dick Dastardly says there are too many live shows. I do not disagree with you, but the nice thing about a live show is they just post up. You don't have to watch them live, so this will post up as a video. And that's why I wanted to focus in on the Batman for a second, so that I could actually, you know, like have some watch content here. As I've said many times before, the blue bezel is just completely spectacular. It is the selling point of this watch when you get into natural light. But when you get away from here, I'm near the window. But when you get away from the light, it just turns black like the top part of the bezel, and then it's not really worth the premium. But as an outdoor watch, it's gorgeous. I have a love-hate relationship with these polished center links, but but every once in a while, what I do is I tape up the sides with masking tape and I polish the center. So, some people have told me that I could, brush out the polish, but I think, you're a little crazy if you play with the factory settings on the, on the watch, because you'd have to clean it up again in order to sell it. So, Tanzil, what's the best watch place? Well, there's a guy, man, give me a second. There's a bunch of authorized dealers, but they don't, as far as Rolex goes, they really don't have much. But there's a guy named Fred on Lower Wacker, and you got to do some digging to find Fred. And I don't know Fred, but you basically need an introduction to get into his place. It's a small commercial establishment. He deals in used watches, lots and lots of Rolex and above. But you got to get buzzed in, and he's got to know you're coming. So, Fred, I think it's Fred. Could be Frank. He's kind of famous. Hi, Clivey. Clivey is here, and everybody said you were doing a live stream, and what was I doing? Doing a live stream at the same time as you. But Clive, I'm sure you can tell them you do not inform me or ask my permission to do your live streams, so I don't know when you're doing them. Anyway, so listen, when I got this Batman right here, I just happened to get like super lucky. Hang on a second, guys, gonna scratch my nose. There's a little penetration on that scratch, so I'm glad you didn't see this. Anyway, no, I'm not fighting with Clive. Clive and I talk every day. I'm like his mother. Anyway, I already had a black ceramic GMT when an opportunity arose. And, the early bird gets the worm. You got to take action. You want a deal. So somebody contacted me who had one of these, and I can never remember what I paid, but it was definitely either $7,600 or $7,800, and that was, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. Clive, you called me when I was driving, so that would have been why. Or you call me at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even caffeinated until like 10:30 in the morning. So I paid $7,600 or $7,800 for this thing, which left me with a black one that I needed to sell, and I managed to sell that one for $6,500 in essentially a cash deal, where yes, the new Ford has Bluetooth. It does have, but it sucks. I would way rather. Yeah, I don't use it. It has Bluetooth, but I don't like it. Anyway, because you know what? Mostly I text while I'm driving, and it fucks that up. So anyway, $7,600 was a tremendous price for this watch. $6,500 a few months ago was actually a pretty decent price for the black on black, but that stupid black is just popping in terms of pricing. I think I saw one at Bob's Watches, which, I know bobswatch.com, they charge out the butt. Decline a phone call there. And I had my money in the bank, a wire transfer. Do I have the perfect, guys, this wrist that you are looking at here, let me show you the other one. This wrist with its beautiful flat wrist bone. This is like masturbation material for Archie. Like this is, I'm blessed because it's not that big a wrist. It's 7.25 inches, but it's flat. It's not round. So you guys can capture a screenshot of this and just imagine this wrist touching all of your watches. And that's a free service from Mark Vlogs Watches channel. Alternatively, if you send me your watch, I will take a photograph of it on my wrist and send it back to you, and that's only $9.95 US. I think that's $14.95 Canadian, but Tanzil, you can tell me if I got that right. So, the big problem with these guys is not the value of them. They hold their value, they pop. The problem is if they make it sound like it's going to be, you'll keep having your $5,000 or your $10,000 with no problem because it's my passion. But the problem with it really is that go ahead and sell it on eBay and you owe a 10% premium, seller's premium to eBay, and 3% that you owe to PayPal. So like on a $10,000 sale, you're giving up $1,300. It's just as though you sold it for $8,700. And you have risk as the seller. So I think there's minimal risk as a buyer. I don't really hesitate to buy expensive things on eBay because you get crazy amounts of buyer protection from eBay and PayPal. But as a seller, you're screwed if they just say it wasn't, if it was a faulty transaction. So the real issue would be, yeah, you could sell I could have sold my black GMT for probably $6,500. I don't know, $7,000, $7,200 full set, right? But the problem, of course, would have been I would have gotten maybe $700 or $800 more for it, but I would have had to pay all that buyer premium, and then on top of it, I'm taking a risk, right? So $6,500 was great. So you really always have to take into account when you're talking about selling, you have to take into account the difference between wholesale and retail. Because chances are you are not going to sell retail. Chances are pretty good that you're going to sell wholesale. I don't know, Tanzil, you ever sold watches to the public? Have any of you guys done that? And if so, like, what's the best way, that you find to go ahead and sell retail? I don't know. Selling wholesale is easy enough. You just call up one of the dealers and you hope that they don't completely screw you. But could I turn up my speak or my sound? I don't know. Let me see. I probably just got to put my face closer, So yeah, you sell software. Well, I sell dog training. So, and my margins are pretty good too. It's a service industry. So I don't know how the heck it works. I can't help you, Clivey. I got my face as close to the phone as possible. You could turn up the sound on your computer or your iPhone if you know where that button is, which you might not. Cape Cod is definitely, I've done that multiple times to these polished center links. And, they're a little grimy right now, but a Cape Cod cloth, I could make this bracelet gorgeous in like 10 minutes. I just don't do it often because I don't need to. That's a desk diving scuff there on that clasp. And I will tell you, I could make it perfect in 10 minutes. So no big deal there. Anyway, isn't she a pretty? Look, there's that Rolex. I've never been really good at finding out, where's that little crown? Is that crown, throw the Batman on a Jubilee? Because I hate the Jubilee. What an awful bracelet. It catches, it's super shiny and it's kind of like light and small. I don't like it. I have one, an old one, a hollow one on a date just. It's kind of flashy because it's two-tone. It looks okay on that. But I don't like that Pepsi bezel, that new one on the Jubilee. The oyster bracelet's a thing of beauty. Like that taper, that's enough to get me turgid. That is like the perfect taper. Yeah, I'm just not too crazy about the, let me turn this around. I'm not too crazy about the Jubilee bracelet. Look how pretty this is. Look how pretty I am wearing it. I don't know, you guys were like complimenting my arm. It's the only good part of me. My arm and my baby's arm. Stop, well, semi, like it's a semi, Anyway, all right, I'm gonna turn this back around because I can barely see you. I got funky eyes. Well, I'm so glad that we could share this time together. I'm like running out of stuff to say. Look, I'm gonna let you listen to the startup of the car. It's such a cool thing. It's so pretty. That little noise, I love that noise. And this is really bizarre, but I really like the Ford logo, that little animation there. When will I foray into hot horology? Like never. I'm not a hot horology kind of guy, guys. Wood accents. The steering wheel's heated, which is super nice because I live, out in the cold Midwest. So never hot horology, I think, for me, and the reason is I feel like I don't really deserve it. I don't really take care of or baby my watches. I'm more of a Rolex, along with a healthy supply of mid-tier shitters kind of a guy. which is fine because I think Archie's gone that exact route, right? He has a Solita movement now, and he has an IWC. He has a Breitling. I mean, next thing you know, he's going to be buying an Oris. So I don't think I really am very deserving of hot horology. And it doesn't interest me. I like big, chunky, manly sports watches. Maybe I'm compensating or something, but that's what I like. I don't know. There were other questions, but I missed them. I wonder, how do I look back on questions? Oh, here we go. I'm looking back. Pull your ear if you're going to do a Carol Burnett. Oh, here. This is for you, Clive. That's for you. Oh, vintage. Fraser was asking if I was going to get anything vintage. I have something vintage coming on its way, and I will make a video. I don't want to like give it away, but any day now I expect to get a vintage piece, but it's big for vintage, so should be kind of interesting. I'm waiting to get that. What are you guys going on? Big and chunky. All right, very funny. Very funny, you. I'll tell you, I'm going to talk to you about big and chunky. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Clive, that's like a popular culture reference that is like 40 years younger than you and me. So I don't know how you manage it. How old are you, Clivey? I would like to know how old Clive is. I myself have a Botox appointment tomorrow. No, next week, Monday next week. So I'm going to be looking, I have to like sleep in a vat of formaldehyde. You're only 50? Jeez, Clyde, you got to come to my doctor. We're going to shoot you up. Clive's at least 93. We're gonna shoot you up, and Clive, I'm gonna get you a hyperbaric chamber to sleep in like me. No, not a buttocks appointment, a doctor's appointment. I sleep in a hyperbaric chamber filled with formaldehyde. That's how I manage it. But no, I like Botox, and I've gotten like bunches of Botox in Thailand, which is it's fairly cheap there. Actually, okay, in Pattaya, I have a watch buddy who's a really great guy, and he took me to his Botox doctor, who is a ladyboy, and she is not only beautiful, this ladyboy, she's gorgeous, but she's really good with a needle. So I have been stuck by a ladyboy repeatedly and liked it, but it was Botox injections, which is really the only kind of injection I like. I mean, you know, one has to suffer for one's art. No, I did not get fisted yet today or ever, but if you're interested, Wald, you know, send pictures and I'll determine if you're on my, if you're a person of interest or not. Yes, you can come for the Rolex. Calm down. Here it is. You think it's a fake? What if I bought a fake? Wouldn't that be interesting? If I bought a fake, but I don't think it's a fake. Actually, it came from the authorized dealer where I actually, A&W cream soda, Canadian economy. Nice. Well, every time you give $1, it's like giving 75 cents, Tanzil. This particular watch, the guy who bought it purchased it from my authorized dealer, and I got like every hang tag with it. It was really cool. I have all the hang tags, and I even got that plastic shipping container, the way they come from Switzerland in the plastic container. So I got the box, the papers, the everything. Will I get the Pepsi GMT? You know, I made a video on it, comparing it to the Batman, and I don't really think it's for me, because I don't really like Jubilee bracelets. Do I think that the polished links on the Batman ruin the lines of the watch? No, not at all. Now, mind you, oh look, I like it loose and sloppy, guys. So Mr. Wald, that might leave you in the running, because I do like it loose and sloppy. But no, I don't think it ruins the lines. I think it adds a certain amount of bling and dressiness to this watch compared to the Oyster bracelet on the as it sits on the Submariner, which is it's a thing of beauty. The way these, you know, the way these brushed bits on the side just kind of like glow. They glow, whereas the center links glint and catch the light. So, you know, my only problem with this is not. It took me a while to get used to how blingy they are, those center links, and then I got over that, and the only thing I kind of worried about after that was scratching them. So to be honest, I don't work in this watch. I put on some kind of shitter to work, like my one ball, or a Breitling. I work a lot in a Breitling because, you know, I don't care what happens to it, is probably the why. All right, I'm gonna look back and see if there was other questions here. What do I think of the Tudor Black Bay Bronze Bucher? Frau Bucher. edition. Anybody get that reference? If you understand that reference, put it in the comments. Um, I'm not big on bronze, and I'm just not big on any of the bronze watches and I don't know why. I guess because it's a soft metal. And then we have the Bronze Age. We're still in the stainless steel age. So I'm not into the bronze just due to the softness. And the patina is really like, rot. Yeah, no, I'm not into it. However, I really do like the Black Bay burgundy bezel edition. I had that. I loved it in the ETA. The problem is I have so many dive watches that I sold it because I have so many dive watches that a 41 millimeter Tudor just was never going to get any wrist time. No, Tanzil has not paid me for a beer yet. I have not enabled Super Chat. The only reason I have not enabled Super Chat is I don't know how. so if one of you wants to talk to me later and tell me how to do that, I can figure it out. I might do it. Tanzil, Mark, if you were to buy a watch today to go out on a date with Heather Locklear, trying to relate to you, a senior citizen, which watch would I put on? Well, first of all, if I was going out with Heather Locklear or Brooke Shields, we would be going shopping, or we would be going out for Cosmos. It would be a really bad date for them, although I would probably enjoy myself. So I don't know. I think this is probably my dressiest watch. Solid gold, Breitling Emergency. I like the Emergency. It's like monster big. Oh, look, I've turned the camera on. It's like, it's very, very big and chunky. Gold, to have that watch in gold. Do they really make it in gold? If they make it in gold, it's stupid. Because it's it's the watch you wear when you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, or when you're going to dive to the Mariana Trench. If you can put up with Michael Jackson, I would be like a stud. Well, Michael Jackson is dead, so he would be easy to put up with. Tanzil Ansari, time for you to send a dick pic to Clivers with your Batman. Tanzil, did you just super chat me? I don't even know how that works. I didn't even know I had super chats enabled. So thank you for the $5. That's crazy. And another one, first super chat. Suck it, Tanzil. Well, Clive, I got to tell you. First of all, I didn't even know I had super chats enabled, but Tanzil is going to go down in history as the first super chat in history on the Mark Vlogs Watches channel. And Clive, you're number 2, but hey, number 2 is good. Who's going to be number 3? Yeah. So anyway, well, I just made enough money to buy a Cape Cod cloth to fix this. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Honestly, I don't know how that works, how I collect the money, how you guys did that, did I have to turn it on? I have no idea, but thank you so much. Mr. Super Chat finds a way. You know what that probably means is that they have each drained $5 out of my bank account. This is probably a super chat in reverse. Maybe that's the reason why Archie Luxury is so poor. Maybe all those super chats are just confusing him. Hang on, I gotta turn off my car. I'm burning gas. There we go. It's quieter now too. Wouldn't that be funny if every time Archie thought Tanzil was giving him 20 bucks, 20 got sucked out of Archie's PayPal account? Because after all, Tanzil sells software and he's Canadian, right? So isn't that, the hotbed of terrorism and Russian hacking? Because you people are constantly smuggling home American goods. Don't you like Keister, like American-made vodka and, Marlboro cigarettes? Isn't that what Trump recently said? So the Batman would look so good with the brushed links. Well, let's turn it around and take a look. Yeah, I'm sure it would. Because look at the Submariner. It's just, the Submariner has like the perfect bracelet. It's gorgeous. But like this thing is like a little, it's like a little dressier than a Submariner. That blue pops. Listen, I guess if I were gonna complain to Rolex about anything regarding this watch, it probably would be those PCLs, and I would just wonder, why can't you fuckers develop some kind of a coating or hardening process that just sort of slowed the scratches down? It would be like that. Hisham Habib, number 3. Thank you so much for my 400 rupees. Where are you, Hisham? Because if you're in India, I'm dying to go. I love Indian food. I love color. The colors in that country are just amazing. I've been all over Southeast Asia, but I have not gone to India, and that's It's on my list, so tell me where you at. Clive, yes, you were number 2. And Tanzil is saying India for sure. I really, not Pakistan. I'd love to go to Pakistan also. Um, so I would, yeah, sorry, Clivey, but you were slow on the uptake. I love food poisoning, go to India. Well, you know, I do know there's a fair number of people get sick when they go to India, but some of them are probably eating street food and doing stupid stuff, you know, in terms of, some of them have probably done stupid stuff. I've been all over, Clive, you'd love to pack a stand. That's very cute. I've been all over Southeast Asia, and I knock wood, I've never gotten sick there. And I eat street food and crazy shit. But I'll be honest, if I eat somewhere where I'm afraid it might have been questionable, I just, you know, do a couple days worth of antibiotics. But I've never had the shits there. In India, thank you so much. Yeah, I really want to go to India. There's some amazing beaches in Goa, right? But I also want to see the cities. So, and Tanzil, thank you again. Holy cow. Delhi Belly would ruin my sex life on that trip. Well, yeah, I'm sure it would, on the one hand. On the other hand, I love Indian food. It's so good. And also, too, I have a boyfriend, guys, so I can't quite do the Southeast Asia tours the way, the way I used to. I have to be a little more, yeah, I'm a good husband, or I'm trying. Anyway, let's go have a look at the, I'm going to turn, the car is off. Okay. Let's go look at the way these seats work. It's really cool. And I'll have to go in there at 5 o'clock to get the dog. The dog is being flown in from California from there. So it's just, this is probably the main thing I love about this vehicle and why I traded in the Porsche. Now, this is a Ford mat, but let me get it out of there for a second. You can see how much room there is. I'm gonna get this thing out. And I'm just gonna lay it down for a sec. This is the net that I string up when I want to put groceries in there, but look at this. Hit that button that says normal. And up go the seats. And that's the third row, so I can fit, 7 people, and have in this vehicle. Like I said, 7 live people, or, like 9 or 10 dead hookers, depending on how tangled up they get. And then pull this thing, or no, I think you just I just lift up the headrest. Yeah, there's room for additional ladyboys. This is true. Okay, so now to get that headrest down, you gotta just pull that and it goes down. So there's lots of cargo space here. That's like a single hooker spot. How many Bernese Mountain Dog? Well, it depends on the Bernese. How many Bernese I could fit depends on if I'm crating them. Then probably only like 2. If I got them loose, probably 4. So I'm gonna stow these seats. $5, Tanzil, thank you. Hit that button. Hold on, I lost it. Hit that button that goes normal, and up goes the dark fat dildos. Yeah, well, there's no sex toys in this vehicle at this time that we can discuss. And then this row here, that goes down also. There's a lever for that, and then they just fall down, and then it's just like cargo space all the way up to the driver. So, all right, let's get you back in. And man, I couldn't fit anything in that Macan, but I got tons of room in this thing. And you never know when you're going to need to transport German Shepherds, Bernese Mountain Dogs. Hold on. Or hookers. Now, generally speaking, guys, in terms of liability, generally speaking, I prefer my hookers live. But dead ones can take up a little more room. Anyway, it's pretty, this thing. It's so pretty. Did I ever train working dogs? Well, for those of you who don't know what that means, working dogs are typically German Shepherds or Malinois, sometimes Labs, depending on what they're working for. Usually that means bite work, such as protection and attack, or bomb and drug detection, and the answer is no. I have friends, a lot of friends in that business, but that is a super specialized and frankly a very small business, and it is more than possible to make a good living at it if you're really plugged in there. But I train pet dogs, and there's 80 million of those in America, you know, and there's only a couple 100,000 working dogs in America. So really, honestly, there's a lot more work in pet dogs. All right, in Schutzhund. Schutzhund is no longer called Schutzhund Habib. The Germans have renamed it, and now it's called, I think, IPO, believe it or not. And I don't even remember what IPO stands for, but Schutzhund is no longer called Schutzhund, and I don't train, you know, in Schutzhund myself. Schutzhund is it's a discipline which is composed of training dogs in obedience first, tracking second, and protection work third. So a well-rounded dog knows all of those things, and there are different levels. And by the time you get up to Schutzhund 3, that dog is fiercely trained, but they do a lot of attack work at the Schutzhund 3 level. I love my Batman too. You know, I made a video, go back and look for it on my channel, called 5 Things I Hate About the Batman. You know, and I had to find 5 things that, you know, annoyed me, and the PCLs were one of those things. People took me seriously. Like, that video is getting a lot of views. It's not very old, and I think it's up to 17 or 18,000 views, and it's just going and going and going. So people are interested in this watch, but I think it gave them the concept that I don't like the Batman, but like, look at this thing, it's beautiful. Phil says I need a Hulk, and you know what? If I were getting a Submariner, that would be the exact one I would get, the Hulk, not the Kermit, but the Hulk, because of the super case. I have a pre-ceramic 2-line Note 8 sub, which Clive keeps trying to talk me out of. I need a ceramic Submariner if I'm gonna go that route. Okay, I'm going back because there were a lot of. Do I dislike cats, or am I a ubiquitous animal lover? I have a cat, so I do like cats. I don't like all, you know, I don't want a pet raccoon, but I do like a cat. Tyler Durden from Fight Club says, how about the root beer? That's cool. That root beer is beautiful, and I like that actually a whole lot better than the Pepsi. I think with the Pepsi, I think the only thing I'm mad about is that bracelet, but I think they did that Jubilee bracelet to distinguish it from the white gold one. If I owned a white gold Pepsi GMT, I'd be mad, you know, because I think those guys are you know, they spent $20,000 too much. So, but yeah, Hulk would be nice. I would really like a Hulk. And Clive says he's wearing his 36mm Explorer. What time is it? Clive, I don't want to fucking talk about a 36mm watch. It just doesn't fucking do anything for me, Clive. You know, Clive just doesn't do a damn thing for me. Just like, you're no friend of mine. Get just like, you turd. So, well, yes, your 36mm is very adorable. It's very cute. It's like a little freckle on your, arm, on your big manly arm. But you and I both know you just bought that to piss off the Australian screamer. So Jack doesn't like the root beer. Well, you know, listen, we all have our likes and dislikes. I'm going to tell you what. Okay, you guys, let's see. Let's hold a little contest. What do you think the next Rolex I crave is? Because there is one. A Nautilus, they're nice, but it's stupid, crazy, nutball money, and I'm gonna need to write a New York Times bestseller, which I'm working on right now, by the way, but I'm gonna need to write a New York Times bestseller before I get a Nautilus. Oh, Barmeester, you had to just like, and Dominic, you guys had to like nail it. Yes, the new Deep Sea. I really would like that 43. Red line, yeah, so that's kind of like, I don't like the Yachtmaster 2. I do not like it, Sam I Am. Or a Sky Dweller, but really I think the watch that will hold its value longer, future, and one that I crave much more is the 43mm Sea Dweller. Here's the thing about that Sky Dweller that makes me mad. I like it, okay, I like the size, 42mm, and it wears big, so I like it. The butt on that one is, we have a Rolex annual calendar with no day of the week function. Like, I know what month it is. you know, I don't need to be reminded it's June. What I really need to be reminded is it Tuesday? What the hell day is it? So that might just be unique to my particular form of old timers disease. But so that watch makes me mad that there's no date function on there. And as far as the date just goes, I have an old one. I have a five digit 1987 date just. So the Sky Dweller, it just makes me mad because I like it, but I feel like long term, it's not the watch to have. I think the Sea Dweller, the 43 Sea Dweller, is it's big, it's manly, it's chunky. Hello, Richard. Hello, Dick. But yeah, I'm sure you were trying to say hello to the the guys. Clive, you had to step away for a phone call. Did you miss anything? The answer is you missed the entire answer to the meaning of life and horology. So you're going to have to go back and watch the entire live stream when it posts up to figure out the meaning of life, because we talked about that. Somebody asked me, what is the meaning of life and Rolex? And I gave the answer and you missed it. So Dominic says the Sea Dweller 43 would be perfect for me, and I agree. No, Mark, I am not bored with the Batman. I am bored in the Batman. So you got to watch your, was that a conjunction? Like, I should know this because I speak English. I'm bored waiting at the airport wearing a Batman. So I believe that it does nothing less than, it does less than nothing for me, Clive. Poor Clive. You know, if somebody gives me 50 cents, I would eat a pizza right now, except for I don't have one. But like if I could find a French fry, you know, in the crack of this car, if I go digging around, I could probably find, you know, like an old French fry. I would eat that for like 50, 60 cents. But the problem is I went to the car wash yesterday and I dusted off the Ford. Look how clean she is. So I don't even think we could find a lifesaver in here right now. But Archie is mad. He always, every time I go on his live stream, he gets mad and he calls it a Ford Exploder. So, Tyler, do I own some Omegas? Yeah, I do. I had two. I'm down to one. I have the, and it's an ETA, an old one, an old Seamaster GMT 50th anniversary with that old-fashioned wavy dial, and that thing is beautiful. The lume is great. It's a real pretty GMT watch, but I never wear it because I've got so many other watches. I don't know. I like it, but I should probably sell it. And I also have a 2254 old Seamaster dive watch with a dive bezel, but I gave that one to my son. He admired it, and frankly, he wanted one of my older Rolexes. But you know, and he's in his early 20s, and he's like moved around a lot, works at restaurants sometimes a lot. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to give him the 2254 Seamaster, and then see if 2 or 3 years later he still had it, you know, like he could find it. And if he does, then I know he's getting on towards where I could give him a Rolex and he won't, you know, lose it. So, all right, let me look at the questions. The breed of dog that is arriving is a Labradoodle. I do not go diving. Although, you know, once, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I went on vacation and I did resort diving where they certify you, like, you know, in 10 seconds to go down to 50 feet. And I loved it. That was, those of you who go diving, what a wonderful sport. I would love to do that again. So I did that like 3 or 4 times that week, and I really loved it. So yeah, it's a Labradoodle that's coming. Did I buy another ball? I did. I did buy another ball. So I don't know. I bought another ball in, you know, what do you call it? Like pre-production. And I did that in April, but it's supposed to be delivered in July or August. So it's coming relatively soon. I'll show you, I'll certainly make a video on it when I get it. But I would like to sell the ball that I have now. So if anybody is interested in a ball chrono, it's a cool chrono. It's got got tritium tubes all over it, keeps good time. It's got a lot of, I don't know. My ball is very cool. It's an Engineer Navy experimental dive unit. You can even push those pushers underwater, literally rated for that, which is unique, weird, and cool. But I think a grown man should only own one ball. Don't you agree? Omega Seamaster Chronograph Olympic Edition 1948. Well, that's amazing. I do have a Flightmaster Clivey. I like my Clive. I forgot about it because I never wear it, but it is that's a gorgeous watch. It's like They started that Flightmaster in 1972. No, 1969. And it was ahead of its time, the Flightmaster. And I say that because of the size of it and the design. Really cool. Did I get a buyer for my Breitling? Nope, not yet, but I'm sure I will. I have 3 of them, or 4. I want to go down to 2 or 3. Clive, am I waiting on you to make a Hitler reference? I don't get it. Oh yeah, you are. That's right. Hitler had 1 ball. So, okay, and he was born in April, same as me. Or no, was he killed himself in April, I guess. Anyway, 1 ball. Well, guys, look at this. In another 12 minutes, I should be able to go in there and see if they have my dog. They told me it's likely to be in at 5:20, but the poor dog has been shipped cross country. She's been in transit for hours and hours. And so I don't want that little doggy to have to wait for me very long. So I'm going to get in there. You know, Steve said that the Batman looks good in the Ford. And, you know, I agree, but here's a secret. The only thing that I really, really miss about the Porsche are those steering wheel wristies, you know, because that I really had some good snob appeal on the steering wheel wristies, and you know, I don't think this does it. Like, this isn't like ooh ah. So really, the only thing I miss about that Ford is or maybe I should just buy a steering wheel out of a Porsche. You know, then I could take wristies. Why am I shipping Archie's girlfriend in for training? Because that's an Australian Labradoodle. It is true. They are Australian yeah, but I don't think any self-respecting bitch would date Paul. How do I rate Bell and Ross? I've never held one in my hands, but I don't like most of those designs. Real square, real minimalistic, you know, I don't know. I don't rate them very highly, but I suppose I'd have to hold one in my hand to know. And that's the same as you, Paul. I'd have to hold you in my hand to rate you too. When am I boarding Archie when he comes to the U.S.? I don't know if he's coming to the U.S. I would be happy to host him. Dan Radke, holy cow! Well, thank you very much for your generous donation. That you're looking for a Panda chronograph, and do I have any recommendations? Well, I don't, in the sense that I don't collect them, but I know who to talk to for you. So Dan. My email address for this channel is markgoldberg8@gmail. Mark with a C, Goldberg, and then the number 8@gmail. Email me. That was a very serious super chat, and I will hook you up with somebody to talk you through your collection purchases and needs, who is extremely trustworthy. So thank you for that, and get in touch with me through Gmail and let me at least make a connection for you. You know, I've learned one thing, guys, sure, Dan, you're welcome. I've learned one thing in dog training, and that is the better part of valor is saying, I don't know. But the beautiful thing about being old is if I don't know, chances are I know someone who does know. And so making the connection, you know, is a really good thing. I don't get buffaloed in dog training much anymore because it is my field. But if somebody came to me with a working dog or a protection dog or a nose work, or a drug dog need, then that is not my area of specialty, but I know who to send them to. So knowing what to do, knowing who you got to talk to is a big deal. So those Pandas are getting ultra collectible. The prices are going up into serious money, and I don't think I'm out of school if I say we're talking somewhere in the nature of up to $75,000 or more. And therefore, it's very important that you buy from a known source, a trusted source. And I don't mind spending really good money on something that will retain value, but you have to be very careful that you're not buying a Frankenwatch, which has service dial, service hands, wrong bits and pieces. You can so easily screw yourself up. Tanzil, Mark, describe the following horology gurus as a breed of dog. Archie Luxury. Oh, hold on. Wow. Okay, give me a second. Archie Luxury would have to be an Old English sheepdog. No, he'd be a pug. Archie is a pug with their big bulgy eyes. They can barely breathe. Basically a pug never really wants to get off the couch. Except for every once in a while they spaz out and, you know, bark and bite at somebody. So that would be Archie. Archie's a pug. Clive, minuscule cack dangler. Clive would definitely be a bloodhound, you know. He's got that sad face, but he's a sweet, affectionate, you know, loving man. Don't ask me how I know that. So I think Clive will be a bloodhound, plus which they always get their man, and I suspect that Clive does too. And of course, I'm talking in the legal sense. TGV, I think TGV, I think definitely would be an Afghan hound. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, and then you'll laugh and you will understand me. Afghan, AFG, like the country, Afghan hound. Fat Rico would be, you know, I like Federico. I've only had a couple of interactions with him, but he's been gentlemanly. Nonetheless, I would say Federico would be a Saint Bernard, you know, big boy, big boy. What do I think about the Explorer? 1, 2, 1 Polar. I had one, the old ones, you know, the 40 millimeter ones, and man, I gotta say, on the one hand, it's a pretty watch, it's a nice watch, but on the other hand, boy, it's small and flimsy, and I flipped it. So Bruce Williams got it, and then he flipped it too. I think that it's the perfect watch for Clive. He would really like it. So Clive is not a guru. I know, I just said you were a bloodhound. I didn't say you were a guru. Bulldog, you know, that might be better for Archie, you know, but bulldogs aren't lazy. I don't know if that would be better for Federico, but I see Federico as a faithful Saint Bernard, you know. All right. Okay, pug is not a working dog. No, it is not. English sheepdog, maybe. I can purchase one from January 2018 for $7,000. Jerry, what can you purchase for $7,000? I'm not sure what you were going for there. So tell me what you can buy for $7,000, and I'll tell you if I think that's a good thing. Rat Terrier. I have a Rat Terrier, and I love gray men. I have a Rat Terrier, and I really like my little ratty. Oh, you can get a 7,000. You know what? I'd have to do a little research to see if the Explorer 2, the new Explorer 2, is good at $7,000. But you want to know what? I suspect it is. So I would want to go real quick, have a look on Chrono and Jewelers on Time on the web, and maybe talk to Kenny. But I suspect that that's a really good price. That's what I would think. Why is the Pepsi purple and pink? I think that's unintended. And maybe they don't look purple and pink unless you put them together. Because this doesn't look purple. Is that Pepsi bezel color different than the Batman blue? Or isn't it the same blue? I don't know. Would I recommend? I wouldn't recommend any dog for Archie. He's explosive. He gets irritated. He eats all the food. That dog would never get a crumb. If Archie ever had a dog, it would be like really skinny. So I honestly think it would be a good idea for Archie to get a dog. I think he can barely keep himself alive. So, yeah, I think the 42 would be better for me than the 40. I didn't like the 40. Thought I would, but I didn't. But I got the 40 when Archie was flogging it. It was a lot cheaper. I got it for well under $5,000. And you can't do that anymore. So even though I got bored and got rid of it, it would have been a good idea to keep it. I'm coming to the conclusion that it's stupid to sell any Rolex unless you just need the money to flip, to turn it into another watch. Because every Rolex that we get bored with sits in price or falls a little for like 5 years and then skyrockets up. So that seems to be the history of what happens with Rolex. So I think if you're bored with your Rolex and you need the money, flip it. If you're bored with your Rolex and you don't, stick it in the safe deposit box, and in 10 years, I think you're going to be really happy, 5 years even, with what happened. In 1987, when I bought my 36 millimeter two-tone Datejust for $3,500, I think it was, or $3,000, I could have bought a steel Submariner for half the money, and I didn't, because it was not the watch that anybody wanted. It was the unloved portion of the range. The watch everybody wanted was that two-tone Datejust that I got. And then a few years later, Batman, or the Submariner, went crazy. So although my watch fell in value and then raised itself back up to, I could probably get for it somewhere in the vicinity of what I paid, had I bought a Submariner at the same time, it would be worth 10 times what I paid. So Let me see. Well, I got another couple minutes to spend with you guys, and then I will be heading into the cargo area of this building to try and collect my dog. Pequods of Lou Malnati's. I've not been to Pequods. I don't know. Jen wanted to go to Pequods, but I'm a Lou's man. Plus, there was a big wait at Pequods, and there was only about a 30-minute wait at Lou Malnati's. Can you adjust the hour hand independently on the Rolex GMT? No, you cannot. And you can on the ETA version. Rolex never had an ETA version of this watch, but I have a Breitling Avenger 2, heavily modified ETA movement in my GMT, and I got to tell you, it's really nice when you can independently move the GMT hand. Your dog has heartworm. Who was that? Hang on. Well, we say howdy here. No. Oh, Tyler, sorry to hear that. $1,000 on heartworm. I don't know where you live, but that sounds a little high. But yeah, heartworm is a motherfucker to cure. They have to poison the dog pretty much to cure him. So it is a nasty, unfortunate treatment. Clive says, are you going to mention your new bookmark? And the answer is, bookmark? I'm writing a new book, but I can't say anything about it. I'm not allowed contractually. So sooner or later, I will talk about it, but it's going to take quite a while before. Yeah, books are like a cake that has to cook for like a year. It's like kimchi. You have to. Oh, my old book. Oh, well, my old book is called Let Dogs Be Dogs and is available at bookstores and Amazon.com now. So, and if you haven't read it, I don't care. Go on to Amazon and leave a 5-star review. I would appreciate that. But it has great reviews. That book is done well. Aurelio's Pizza. What is that? Something that you... Sorry, guys, force of habit. Yeah, Clive, I think I ought to... if I knew how to bring you in and make you my moderator, I would do it. In 10 years, the Batman will be $20,000. I hope so, because I'm afraid to sell it. I'm actually afraid to sell anything Rolex. I'm fine selling off Breitling. I figure I can rebuy that if I become sad, I can rebuy it. Look at that wrist, guys. The leg is nothing to write home about. Yeah, the leg's not bad. The leg is okay. But look at that. Look at that wrist. That wrist, that flat wrist bone, it's a thing of beauty. And if I were you guys, I would grab a screen capture of this right now and then get the Jergens lotion tonight. Look at that. Don't you wish you had a wrist like this? It's flat. The guys who have the round wrists, the end of the watches tend to hang off their wrist. Whereas mine, it lays nice and flat. There's a funny thing about the iPhone camera, though. There's a certain level of distortion. So things always look a little bigger in the iPhone camera, which, by the way, is probably Steve Jobs' way of making dick pics look better. I miss that guy. Well, folks, it is 5 o'clock on the nose, and they have told me that I could go in there and talk about picking up the dog between 5 and 5:20. So I'm going to do that. Thank you so much for these super chat contributions. That was unexpected, unbelievable. I appreciate it. The Panda Dude, please send me the email so I can hook you up with a helper. I'm going to do this again. Clive's new book is called Let Minotaurs Be Minotaurs, the story of one man and how he lost his horns. Peace out, guys. Goldberg, next time. Now, I'm looking for a button that says stop, and I can't find one, so I'm going to start pushing things, and we'll see what happens. Thanks, Hisham.